Hey guys, it's Derek Everitt and Adam Beesley from the Deathpiles and Taxes podcast that you're listening to right now.
Your favorite account, I know. It's the greatest thing in the whole world.
A lot of you have been asking what you can do to help the podcast out, and seriously, all we want is a review.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a 5-star review, but if not, be fair, at least a 4.
We know you're listening. Like I said, we see the numbers. We're all over the world. Like I said, it's just we see it. We appreciate everyone listening. Help us get a little higher up there. Help us get more new
Helps
listeners.
with the algorithms. People can help find us out, and it really does help. So if you can go to Apple, iTunes, that's where a lot of you are already listening, or wherever you're listening.
Spotify, Apple, all of these different things. They're all out there.
Wherever you listen, give us you don't even have to write a review. Just give us 5 stars. If you want to give us a review, that's cool too. We appreciate it, and keep listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
We sell your items online. Go ahead, declutter your life. Have a yard sale or let eBay do the work. From the thrift store shopping to that wallet popping. There are 2 things in life that are certain. Deathpiles in Texas. Deathpiles in Texas. With Derek Everitt and Adam Beesley.
Mr. Derek Everitt, it is podcast time, buddy.
Well, Adam, it definitely is the time to do the podcast.
Yes, Deathpiles and Taxes. We are here to, I'm in a great mood because this will be the last podcast we do while it's tax season. So next week, my countenance will be even brighter than what it is today.
Next week, you're counting it. I think I just had a stroke, Adam.
You're
Can you say that again?
No, I'm not going to redo it over. Next week, my countenance
There we
will be
go.
greater than what it is today.
My hearing came back and my stroke has been cleared. Something like that.
Yeah, so we're, like I said, this is a podcast here to learn about filing your taxes. If you haven't done it yet, yeah, you're that kind of a person.
It's time to do it if you haven't done it. And if you're selling things on eBay or wherever on the internet, I guess you can sell them. We're all for reselling, whether you're doing it out of your trunk, doing a yard sale, doing a flea market. We talk a lot about eBay. Maybe you're on Macari, Poshmark, Depop, Craigslist, ThreadUp, Facebook Marketplace,
Bonanza.
etc.
Yes.
I could keep going.
There's several out there.
I didn't even say Macari yet,
You did say Macari.
but not new Macari.
Well, your stroke must really be hurting you.
I don't know. I'm kind of getting that summertime feeling. You know when it's kind of summer, we've been trapped in. I just have that. I just need to go somewhere and do something. That's where I'm feeling. So my mind's kind of going over a bunch of different things that we got going on. So this is going to be a fun podcast. If nothing else, you'll have me telling Adam he said things wrong, me saying things 2 times in a row, pretend like I didn't say it. And at the end of the show, we'll say there's 2 things in life that are for certain, and you can go on about your day. But
That's
we appreciate everyone listening. And Adam, I came in and you said a lot of cards have been selling.
Oh man, I've been trying to broaden my eBay horizons and my selling horizons and get a little more notched into it. So if you're new to the podcast, like I said, we talk about selling stuff online. I started a while ago with my wife and kids. Found random stuff at the thrift stores. Made some good money at it. Found a lot of stuff, T-shirts, other stuff. But I'm like, not real excited about it. We were making $15, $20, $25 an item, which is really good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really good.
I'll do that all day, every day, if
Yes.
possible.
And the listing part really kind of got cumbersome. I mean, it's like everybody likes to buy, but listing is kind of one of those things. So I have quite the death pile in another office in here.
Well, here's the thing. You need to listen to a podcast like Deathpiles and Taxes while you list. And we can be your companions while you do that.
Well, I've been a little busy.
Or buck up and buy the cell hound and just have them do it for you.
I know. I've been a little busy. I've had a lot of things going, which everybody has excuses. I mean, I have
What about them kids of yours? You got that one newborn not doing much at all.
I'd like to see them. I don't see them.
Well, if they list your stuff for you, then you can come home and just spend time with them.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Full of excuses, which we all have, and we.
I haven't got to my list yet of excuses. Go ahead.
So really got into that. I've been getting more into cards because, like I said, it's more something that I enjoy. Selling sports cards kind of really has been my thing. But my wife and we have a store with a bunch of random items, very, very random. We've done well. We sold a couple $1,000s on there. It's been fun. But I finally bucked the trend and I got my own eBay store today for all of my card stuff.
Adam's got his own store.
My own store.
You had an account going.
I've always had an account, but I never had a store.
So you decided to make it official.
Made it official because I wanted to get into the Terapeak, which is the research engine. So if you haven't done it,
Which everyone gets now. It doesn't matter what store level. That was one of the things I think with the Spring Seller Hub. Or I'm reading your Seller Hub. That's where I'm at, Adam. I'm reading your screen saying Spring Seller Hub. The Spring Seller Update, one of the things that was discussed
you had
is
to be the basic store.
I think everyone gets it now.
I don't believe you're. We'll look at it because
I
I
could be
the
up.
cheapest one.
Jimmy Cheapy Pants it.
So anyway, so I'm in the Terapeak, like so looking, kind of drilling. If you haven't looked at it, I've looked at it in the past with Derek, but I never really dove into it. We had it on the other store, but again, I didn't really, look into it. Now I'm looking to seeing, gives you a lot better research on what's selling, how much it's selling for, is it going on an auction, a fixed price, all of these things that really help you better know how to price your things. Because I've been listing a lot, Derek. I've been listing a lot of cards. I'm almost over 100 items in the
Nice.
store now.
Way to go. Between you and the legend, you've been outpacing me.
I've got another 150 here to list. I am gonna get a lot more in there because I got to start selling so I can make the D-Roy type.
Well, and to justify the spending, right? So we all love to go and spend. We all like to do. I'm the same boat. That's the fun part. You go on this hunt and you find that, whether it's that rookie card or that concert T-shirt or whatever item that you're after, and you're like, hey, I found it. I brought it home. It's now in the garage or in the room or whatever. If you don't start listing that stuff, it just starts piling up, and you get the credit card bills or whatever. You need to start selling so you can go on that hunt again. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Or else you become a fire hazard and the kids don't come over to see you no more. They think that, daddy's went a little crazy. So
Yeah, so it's been really fun. Like I says, I wanted to get more into that. As I got more items listed, I wanted to make sure I had a little more organization. So if you're interested, it's called Deathpiles and Taxes. That's the store name.
oh, wait a minute. I think there's a copyright infringement now.
I believe I own the copyright, so therefore
Well, we'll have to go to the trademark office and see who filed first.
I believe I did.
Well, we'll see.
Well,
I guess I'll play out in the court of law.
I'll get my patent attorney. He can
This
take your
might
patent
get
attorney.
a little interesting in the coming weeks.
So, anyways,
That's a great name.
I decided to get in there and really try to dive into more of the nuts and bolts, and I'm excited to start.
I'm going to change my name to Original.
Yours is the Johnny Lingo store. You can't go changing your name.
Oh, you can. That's the good thing about eBay.
Well, I've already done it first.
Well, not if it says the new
The name.
first, the real Deathpiles. That's what you do on the Twitter, right?
The real Deathpiles and Taxes. So that's what I've been doing. Like I said, just working on some listing stuff, trying to get my store lined up so I can, start making more money.
Yeah, that's the goal, and hopefully, using that Terapeak, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it's a tool that's not utilized nearly enough. Like Adam's saying, you can dive deep into the research and see what things, you can just look and see
Yeah.
with a name what sells.
Perfect example, Justin Herbert. He's the quarterback for the Chargers. I've got a lot of his cards. I'm trying to figure out pricing and things. I just threw in his name, and this just talks about sold from April 12th through May 11th, so a 30-day window. It pulls it up. It says the average price sold is $157. It says the average shipping price, 24% of the items are free shipping. The total number of sold, sell-through rates, total sellers. Can you see the screen?
It's kind of an angle, but I can see
Did
basically.
you see the number?
Well, I had that stroke, so I'm just smelling toast right now.
Okay.
So it was 1. There's 0.
There's a lot of zeros. There's been over $10 million worth of items sold with the name Justin Herbert in the last 30 days. So that just kind of gives you a better idea of what are you looking for, or what items might you be on the lookout for, and that's one that I just.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
research.
Before you go sourcing your stuff too, you can look it up and say, okay, I think this is going to be popular. I think this is going. You can kind of spot a trend, or if you think you're ahead of the trend, you can kind of price out, see where you're at.
Which I am. I'm well above the curve. I've got a whole bunch of my WNBA cards that I was early on. Got all these graded ones back, and I've got them up and listed. There aren't a lot of them sold, which is not necessarily a good or bad thing, but it's because there aren't a lot that are graded. So that's what's the difference.
And that's okay. I mean, it's fast nickel, slow dime. We talk about it from occasion. You hear about it on other, Facebook groups or other podcasts or anything like that. I've always been more of the slow dime. I mean, if you want to be a fast nickel, that's fine. I sold a wrestling card earlier today. I sent it off to Adam and Painter, the pitcher. And it's a good card. It was a PSA 9, $250 for this rookie card. But like Adam's saying, it was probably up for a few months, if not longer.
I don't know about you, but I'm not about the slow nickel. I'm about the slow $100 bill, y'all.
Adam's about that. I'm going to tell you the rest of my story now.
Sorry.
So I put it up there, and I had offers, and I had some lowball offers, and I had different things, and after a couple months, you kind of get thinking, well, maybe am I wrong here? Did I price it wrong? And then just random day to day, ka-ching, look down in the afternoon, and $250 in the wallet. So you got to be confident with what you're selling. You got to know what you have. You're just waiting for. So the way I see it, we're just waiting for that one person to come. There might be a handful. If you're lucky, there's 2 or 3 people looking for it. They're going to fight over it or more. But really, I'm just waiting for that one person who collects this one thing to come and look for it. I know there's not many out there. This card was a population 7 that was graded.
Oh, that card.
So there was only 7 of them in existence that had been graded. I was buying up a bunch of the raws. I know our buddy Painter was buying up a bunch of the raw cards too. So hopefully in the future we'll have more of those. But okay, I know there's 7 that exist. I know I have one of them. So I'm waiting for the right person to come along. And when they try to negotiate with you, I mean, I had this happen the other day with a different item. So why does this cost so much? I said, well, because it's the price that I valued it at. Well, how come it's so valuable? And it was a card. I said, well, because it's graded at this, number, and the population is, I think it was 3 or something. So it's in this condition, and there's only 3 of them that exist. Oh, okay. Well, how do you get that number? I'm like, well, basically, I just pulled it out of thin air and I put it there. But that's not what I said. I said, well, that's kind of what they were going for. Not a lot out there. I'm open to offers. Is usually what I'll say. I'm open to realistic offers. And I don't remember if that sold or not. It probably didn't, or would have remembered. But you can get people like that. But I'm waiting for that right person that's going to come along and say, oh, there's only a few of those graded. I can't find that card anywhere. I need it for my collection. Boy, that seems a little steep, but they're either going to pay it or make an offer, right? So, or
when you have one of a few, or there's no, when it's the only one available, like you either buy it or you don't.
So so the WNBA might not have a mass market. We might hear it and laugh or giggle or whatever, or think, well, there's whatever. But the point of the story is there's a fan base there, and whether it's not 20,000 going to arena, but even if it's 2,000 or 3,000 going to arena, I don't know what the WNBA crowds are like. But of that, there's some fanatics. There's people that are fans of these people, of these players, that follow these players, and you find the right player with the right card. Okay, so it's not 20,000 people looking for this card. It's 300. Does that really matter? There's still a built-in market there. It's going to be a little slower to sell, but when it does go to sell, it's going to sell for a good price because you're the only one there.
Yep.
So needless to say, if Adam had that card up for $30 or $300, it's that same person's going to find it when that person's looking for it. So the price doesn't really matter as much as a lot of people think. Sure, you have to be price sensitive, and if you have competition, you have to be a little more flexible or a little more competitive that way. But for the most part, this person's going to come and find the card, whether it was 30 or 300, they're just looking for that card. So they'd be more than happy if it's $30, but they're going to pay the 300 because that's the card they want anyway. So don't sell yourself short. I know a lot of times we get there, we're like, man, I get this stuff moving. I'm starting to hoard up stuff. If Derek came over, he couldn't sit in my living room. You can organize, you can do things better. And sometimes you're done with stuff and you just want to put it on sell and move it. I get that. But don't sell yourself too short on a lot of your items because the right person will come, and you don't want to be the guy that takes the 30 over the 300 because it's the same amount of time, I guess is what I'm trying to say in the long run.
It is the same amount.
It's as long as it is short, Adam.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. You're right.
As long as it is short.
That's what I've heard before.
Okay.
In different circumstances. I don't know what that means. So no, it is tax time. So this is the last. If you're filing an extension, that's great. Again, I always say it. There's only an extension on filing your taxes, not on paying your taxes. If you owe money, it is due on Monday, which I'm glad I said it because I haven't paid mine yet, so I better write that down.
You best get on that.
I better make sure I do.
You don't want to be the accountant on the news that got arrested for not paying his taxes.
That's not going to happen.
That's bad for business.
Not going to happen again.
Again.
So no, that's your little reminder. But like I said, it is. I'm really excited because we got some good things going on. I got some eBay stuff going on. The wheelchair stuff is going nutso. Hopefully, planning a little vacation.
When's the big commercials coming out?
Man, I tell you what, corporate America just doesn't get it. Like, we have this TikTok channel. We're able to go on and make a video, and within a couple hours, people are seeing it. Like, we have to send it to corporate office, and then corporate has to get an approval, and then they when we originally shot it, they says, do what you want, and then they're like, oh, well, we wish that you would have done some more explaining about where you were at and what you were doing instead of, well, why didn't you tell us that the first time instead of driving 4 hours to go there and do it, and then, so we're waiting. We're waiting on a couple approvals before we can get those up.
Hurry up and wait, is what you're saying.
Yes, they're all like, can you do that now?
And,
yes.
and then there's done, and okay. I was just curious. You brought it up a few episodes ago. I wanted to know where the process, so how we were. I'm excited to see that do merchandise.
Yeah, so some Dusky, your Twitter buddy Gary B had his auction going on right now for Bee Friends. He made all kinds of
Bee Friends.
Bee Friends, yes, like a digital card,
like a Valentine's card.
Pretty much, yes. Glorified thank you card that cost a lot of money, a lot of ether.
So you haven't been bidding on those?
No, I don't have that much ETH in my wallet.
Well, you could get it. Just make a couple transfers.
Yeah, but the problem, it's like 4 G's for 1 ETH, and I don't have that kind of money to be spending on a virtual thank you card.
I don't even know. There's more ETH than bees there than I've ever heard of in my days.
Yes, but I did say that that Dogecoin, it hit pretty well. Your buddy
Did he cash off at the right time before Elon went on Saturday Night Live and said it was all a racket?
No, I
took a dive.
I cashed a smidge out. I've still got a lot. It's a long-term game for me.
Hope it takes a bump.
Mine's a slow 10,000, not a fast $100 bill. That's all.
That Elon's kind of an odd duck.
He even said that. I mean, he's
Oh yeah, I know. He's an interesting guy. He's got a lot of things, a lot of credibility behind him. I'm not going to sit here and besmirch the good name of Elon Musk, I guess, but
yeah.
Just when he went on there, I think they said right when he said it was some skit. I didn't watch it all, but they were having to try to explain what it was, the coin, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it, but then they said, so it's all just a big hustle, and he said yes.
Well,
and then it just tanked, apparently.
I know when I'm ready to go on my spaceship travel, I can pay with my Dogecoin, and that's how I can get to the moon.
That's how you can get to the moon. Well, if you get past that Orion, the old Orion belt, or what was it? I'm having strokes.
I wonder if you have to have your passport to go out of the world.
I mean, as long as you come back to them, that's a good question.
I know.
Unless you if you didn't step out, I figure you
I
come back right to where
I don't have a passport yet.
No, you don't?
I've been out of the country, but this is 20 years ago, and you didn't have to have a passport to go to Tijuana.
They didn't care then. They just sent you on your way.
Tijuana, and then we went on a cruise, but we left from Puerto Rico, so there was no restrictions. But I wonder if you get a passport stamp. That would be cool. I would resell that.
Yeah. Maybe you can buy a little souvenir. They'll have a little souvenir shop where you can buy all your merch, and you come back, you put it on eBay.
I wonder if you could pick something up at the International Space Station.
That's what I'm saying. They'll have a little gift shop. You'll go, you buy your T-shirt and a coffee mug, and it'll be floating around to get your picture upside down.
I mean, that'd be a pretty cool. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to outer space. Not a lot of people can say that.
Not a lot, but maybe here in the next few years that might all be changing. Apparently,
it's
becoming a thing to do.
Hoard up on some more Dogecoin. So.
Well, Adam, I got some stories for us coming back. I think I've lost I need to go examine my life and see where it went wrong in this first segment.
Are you inebriated?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've done nothing to be inebriated, but maybe I'm just high on life.
I know you've been having a lot of crazy stuff going on at work. I know you're busy.
I got 1 week left myself.
Okay.
So next week will be good for both of us.
Well, we'll have a power week next week, but like I said, can I get into something real fast?
The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, we had a couple questions about the Wednesday wisdom, and I'll go into, I guess, a little. This will be the long form, but for those of you who have dabbled into selling things online outside of eBay, well, the other interesting thing is like larger ticket items. If you're getting into selling cars, like I know there was a certain friend, I'm not going to give away a name, he might be related to you, has sold some things, some items, bigger ticket items.
Adam keeps his mouth shut. He's good people.
Yes. Anyways, a lot of times it's like the super gray line. There really is about, well, if I sell my own car, do I have to pay taxes on it? Well, not necessarily, but if you're in it for the business of selling cars, then yes, you do. And there's a certain limit and all these things, and some of them are treated like a long-term capital gain, where you pay capital gains taxes. Others are treated like regular income, which means you have to pay self-employment income tax. It's a really weird accounting rules, especially with selling online. And the worst part is the government doesn't really know what to do. So it's kind of, as you're talking to a professional, as you're either trying to figure it out yourself, you're welcome. Like I said, there are some rules, but when you get into some of those fuzzy areas, it's kind of like, what's your best guess? And I know that sounds really dumb, but that's exactly how this part of the tax law is kind of set up, is what's your best guess on what I should be doing when I'm selling goods, especially online collecting sales tax. I mean, eBay has gotten a lot better. The Nexus law that came out a few years ago really kind of put a kibosh on that. Do you remember when we were at the seller meetup a couple years ago? We had a couple that does some stuff on Amazon, and they had to ship it to Pennsylvania, and because their goods were housed in a warehouse in Pennsylvania, they had to charge Pennsylvania state tax on that kind of stuff, and just weird things like that, don't let them discourage you. I mean, all those things you can figure out, but where I was going with it is like I said, selling these different items online, the best thing you can do is keep track of it all. That's the most important thing, because it's always after the fact, oh yeah, I'm not going to worry about it, but we talk about it, keep everything in one account, one credit card. That kind of gives you a better idea when you're selling these items online. The other aspect is when we're talking about online sales for stocks or any of those kind of things, like your Robinhood accounts, your Fidelity, any of these E-Trade brokerages. All of those have a very detailed record of all of your transactions. And as much as it sounds like you have to pay taxes when you gain money, and your losses can be offset, but only to the tune of $3,000. So it's really weird. They have this loss restriction to where, let's just say that you bought, eBay stock and it was a couple $100, and then it tanked and went down to, like $175. If you sell your stock, and let's just say you lost $10,000, you can only take a $3,000 loss per year. It's really, really weird. Why? I don't know why they do the things they do. You just have to know it. But if you have some other gains, they can offset that loss. So some people play games about, not wanting to pay taxes, but then they lose money. I don't know. When I see these 1099-B forms for people, they can get really, really tricky, because some people are day traders. We've got friends that are on there every day and selling. I'm like, that's not my game. Can't do it. I like to hold some things. And
We got friends that have gambling problems as well.
well, I wouldn't say problems. I'd say more like interests. They're only problems if they're sleeping on the couch, which I heard that might be
It's only a problem if I lose.
Yes, and you don't lose unless you sell. But all of those like I said,
21's going to hit sooner or later. It's mathematically improbable for it not to.
it will. So anytime they said you have these brokerage accounts, make sure that I had a lot of people that we've done new stuff for, and I mean, I was one of them. I jumped on the bandwagon. Our buddy Gerb's been trying to get me for years, and I finally listened and made some money on there.
Well, I think with the pandemic and everything, people were just kind of bored and thought, what can I do? And I think Robinhood was that sweet spot for a lot of people.
It was, and then there's rumors of them trying to get everything lined up to where they can go be publicly traded. So just know that when you're doing things online, the more and more, anytime you have to put in a social security number, that means the government's gonna know what's happening. So just keep that in mind. So next time you go to put in your social security number, think about where that's really going and should I be doing this? Because there are instances, if you do have a legitimate business and you have an EIN number, you want to put it in the EIN number, otherwise it becomes just crazy trying to get it fixed.
I mean, you say this, but back when that Prince was handing out all that money, you told me the same thing. Now look at who got the checks and who didn't.
I know, but aren't you still under investigation for those checks?
Well, they didn't bounce, or they didn't clear because he was trying to put the money in there, but you know, the government where he's at is so corrupt that it was there. Now I just have to send him $25,000 and he'll reissue it.
And he'll give it back.
Yes.
That's right. I know how the government.
And he's got my credit card or my social security number now, so it makes it easier for him to get in touch with my bank.
Okay, well, when that happens, make sure you give me the form, because there's also this thing called casualty theft and loss. When you lose your shirt because you got swindled from Uncle
It's not so casual.
Uncle whoever in whatever country overseas.
Papua New Guinea.
Hey, don't be giving Papua New Guinea bad.
I'm not. You're the one saying I'm going to get swindled from them. I'm doing business with them.
Business with them.
I'm in line with royalty in Papua New Guinea.
You have been lying with royalty over there. So that's just kind of one of those things, like I said, just keep track of what you're doing. I know it sounds like pretty elementary, but a lot of times we get kind of caught up in it.
That's the secret there, is keep it simple. The KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right?
That is, I know a lot about that. So, well, D-Ray, let's catch a break, get you uninebriated, pull you back in, get you a little jolt, and maybe a little go-go juice, and we'll go from there.
Adam, our friends over at Cellhound have outdone themselves. They're giving the Deathpiles and Taxes listeners an opportunity of a lifetime.
They're going to help us make some money, get rid of that death pile, get your items listed, because you can't sell out of an empty wagon.
Man, sell all that you got, kill that death pile. When you go over to Cellhound, use promo code, capital letters, Deathpiles25 to save 25% off of their service.
And get out there and start making some money. There's a reason we call this the Deathpiles and Taxes podcast.
Well, why do we call it that, Adam?
Because for the rest of your life, and even the year that you die, you have to file your taxes.
Well, I got a guy that does that for me.
That's right, because here at Adam Up Accounting, that's what we do. We take care of taxes. We're very familiar with online retailers. Even if you're listening because you enjoy the sultry sounds of Derek Everitt, we will take care of your taxes. Check us out online, adamupaccounting.com. The social medias, we will help make sure that you file your taxes timely and enjoy the process.
Whoa! Whoa! You alright, Adam? You okay?
That almost caused a problem there.
Woo! Deathpiles and Taxes, and Derek Leroy Everett, and Adam Diamond Hands Beesley.
Oh, diamond hands.
You got me a little liquid refreshment. I'm feeling better about life, Adam. I got to tell you a story.
You got to tell me a story. Well, you have the floor, as you had said in the past. See, wets the old whistle right there.
Well, you may have noticed the first of this show. I just wasn't. I was in some sort of an altered state. It seemed like
You were in a fog.
I was driving here. And this is a 100% true story. 100% true story.
90% of our stories on here are 100% true.
Yeah, and I mean, we might, tweak it a little here and there for excitement value, but most of it's based, you know how a movie's based on a true story, like Rudy, that didn't happen at all, but kind of did?
Yes.
Most of our podcasts are based on a true story, except for the eBay numbers and things that we actually sell. Any story that we tell about our lives is kind of embellished probably here or there, for better or worse. But this is true.
Okay.
So I'm driving, and there's a high school on the way, and I'm passing the high school, I'm kind of slowing down, and the kid just, takes off in the road. And I'm like, so I see him enough, and I've been training, so I'm looking ahead, I'm doing all my proper things. So I start slowing down, which I should, and I think, oh, he's just going to run across the road. And I'm still slowing down or whatever. Kid stops in the middle of the road and does when you, touched when you're doing,
Ladders.
In sports, a ladder.
That was a long time ago.
But you remember when you just stop in the middle and touch and run back, touch back, whatever. He does that. I think he picks up something, but he stops and runs. And I'm just like, huh? Well, that could have went really bad. So I think the whole way coming in here, I was just thinking, I could have just ran over that kid. That would have been awful. That would have ruined my life, would have ruined his life. And it has nothing to do with reselling at all. But it kind of put me in a fog of like,
Altered your state of mind.
well, sometimes you might be looking down at your phone, which you're not supposed to do. You might be texting. You might be trying to do something, talking on your phone. That could have went real bad. Now, I do my best not to do any of those things, and I'm glad that I don't now. I was paying attention and stuff. But anyway, I didn't want to call up Adam and say, hey, can't do the podcast. Cops and ambulance are on their way. Talk to you later.
And then I'll be like, what in the world happened?
So anyway, that might have been when I was in my little funk earlier. Can't kind of work through it, but it's getting to be summer out there. If you have kids, tell them not to run the road. I mean, I think that's pretty common stuff, but like...
It's not. You still have to say it.
Or like, if you're going to just complete it.
Yes.
Like, get out there, wait till there's no car. Not even wait till there's no cars. Like, whatever he was picking up, probably not worth it.
Be cautiously whatever else is going around you.
Now, the other day, Adam, I need to get into this. I took some of my own advice. So last week,
Great.
I talked about this chlorine shortage.
Oh, yes.
And I've been holding on to it for about a month from when I heard the news. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get to it because I was just busy, like we've been talking about.
Busy.
And I wanted to share it with our people. Apparently, I didn't give a heads up to people that have hot tubs that I know.
Jeez.
Because I didn't know that I knew people with hot tubs because I never got invited to sit in them. They never. Did you get invited?
I don't want to go sit in the hot tub with those guys.
Well, Adam's a little hoity-toity, but I'm not too good to sit in the hot tub with some gentlemen. Once I have to tell this story, or else when my dad comes in, he'll tell it anyways. And we were down on vacation with the family, and there was a hot tub that was full down at this in southern Utah. It doesn't matter because only a few people would know what it was. But anyways, it was like a Hilton or something like that. And my whole family, we're going down for like a family vacation to go do something, like extended family. And it was one of those days, and there's like 20 people in this hot tub, right? Like it's packed full. There probably should only be 15. It's like when you have 10 pounds of
Don't even say it. No, just move on.
Yeah, 10 pounds in the 5-pound bag. And I'm gonna get in there because I'm like, well, I'm getting in there too if everyone else is in here. So I'm going to step down, and I think there's a step, but there's so many people in there, they're not really moving. And so I don't see the step, and I kind of miss it, and I go over tea kettle, since we're a family-friendly show here, top over tea kettle in my state, and I splashed in the middle of this, and there's people just like moving around in the hot tub, and like kind of getting up, but not really helping me up because they don't want to, so I get up. And I thought there'd be a little spot for me to sit by. I don't remember if it was my wife or my parents. I know my parents were in the hot tub. So I kind of stand up, and I'm like, uh-oh, something just ain't right now. Something just does not feel right now.
No.
I had split my shorts. I had split my drawers getting into the hot tub that's full of people, and now I don't have a spot to sit.
Which is a good thing to stay in the water.
Which is a good thing to stay in the water, but if I get out, there's kids and things around, and I can't be going to jail for this, Adam. I'm like, how do I get out of this? So what I ended up doing is as I told my wife, I said, can you go get me a towel? Can you go get me a towel? And she's like, why? I'm like, just, I split my shorts. Split my shorts. And there's a few people that are like, you okay, son? You all right? I'm like, yeah, just a little concussed, but, nothing hurt, bruised much but my pride. And my dad's just like, I don't know your parents should have raised you better. I don't know who's
The problem is you're a spitting image. It's like
he denies. I know, but he did not. Like when things like that happen, my dad's like the first to be like, I don't know who your parents are, but they probably should have done a little better job around, your developmental years. Who'd get in the hot? You can see it was full of people. Why would you be getting in here? Like, weren't you raised better than that? And my mom was, she's just quiet, just like, oh, Derek, we love you, but it was you could use the steps.
You are the special kid in the family, right?
Pretty much. And so my wife goes and gets me a towel, so I pretty much just put a towel around me in the hot tub, and I get out of the hot tub, and I run to my room, and I didn't have a backup pair, I don't think.
Run.
No, it was pretty good. I mean, if you feel the breeze and there's people around, you can move a little faster than you'd think, especially a guy in my state at the time. And this was a few years back. I scuffled anyways. If anything, I shuffled pretty fast to my room, and I got dressed, and I don't think I had a backup pair, and so I think I might have just came down and hung out later. I don't know. Anyways, point of the story is I'd get in a hot tub with about anyone, and that's why.
Going back to chlorine.
And so,
We derailed to get
well, no,
to
you
chlorine.
said you wouldn't get in a hot tub with our friends, and I said I'd be more than happy to if we were invited, which is a lie because I'm just trying to rile him up because he invites us all the time and we never go to his house.
That's true.
And he offers us good food and things, and we just don't ever make it. And so I was just trying to rile him up a little bit because
Hopefully
that's
you
fun.
did. Hopefully you
That's
did.
fun to do if you have friends and you have a podcast and you can make little inside jokes like that to them. You ruffle some feathers a little bit. It's all good.
Go start your own podcast and you have your own inside jokes too. It's great.
Yeah, it's great for everyone. It's a great pod. The numbers go up when we talk.
The numbers
The
do.
more I talk about Central Utah and inside jokes, the higher our numbers go.
It's a true statement.
But point of the story is chlorine is hard to get this year. I broke the news last week and I wasn't going to get any because I was too busy. And well, yesterday I got home and I'm just like, I can't. There's money sitting on shelves, and you know me, the same with the lids.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I got to at least go and try because I don't want to be here in 3 or 4 months and have this stuff go for hundreds of dollars and me be
Knowing
saying,
that you could.
oh, I should have done it, but I was too lazy or I thought I was too busy. So after dinner, I said to Holly, I said, well, you want to go with me for a ride or you got some stuff you'd rather do? And she usually does, but she had some stuff she was doing. And I said, well, here's my route, and it should take me a couple hours, right? And I thought, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I hit gold because, again, in Central Utah, there's not a whole lot of tubs, and there's not a whole lot of pools, especially right now. It's just getting to be warm,
Yeah.
and I'm looking to sell to the bigger markets. But the first place I went was that little hardware store by our house.
Oh yeah.
Not the Ace, the new Ace,
Yeah,
but
the other one.
the little one, because I like to go everywhere that might have it.
Local littles.
And so I'm talking to some people a little bit. I'm like, hey, do you guys got any chlorine? Because they eventually come around and ask what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Chlorine tablets. And the guy goes, he says, well, there's going to be a shortage on that this year. I said, oh, is there really? And he goes, yeah, apparently we can't order that in, but we might have a little bit. But yeah, you're going to want to get that now because you're not going to be able to get it later. And
Yes,
I
do
said,
want to get it now.
I said, well, I'll be that something then. I mean, what am I going to, no crap, that's why I'm buying to resell it. I'm going to jack your prices and go. And so the lady takes me over and they just had like the pH reading kits or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, we can try to order some in for you, but it's going to be tough. And I thought, well, and the price is going to be up. So I said, nah, it's all right. And anyways, I hit 3 or 4 other stores, hit the mother load.
Ooh, that's
And I did the scan thing because I don't know. I mean, I'm not buying them on the usual, on the reg. So I thought, well, I need to make sure I'm getting the right kind or the right size because they have like 1 inch, 3 inch, 5 inch, 50 pound, 20 pound. Well, they didn't have 50 pounds, but different. So I just started doing my scans, looked at solds, threw them in the cart. I probably spent, at least four Benjamin Franklins yesterday on pool supply. That's actually, you go and they say, what are you looking for? And I said, well, now that I know, I'm looking for your pool supply section. And it's just right down there on the left. And you go in there and if you're looking for some easy money, and I know a lot of you are, if you're looking for that fast nickel that we just talked about not doing earlier with sports cards, I think chlorine
Now's the time.
Now's the time. Get on it now. Again, we're coming out of COVID. If anyone's under a rock and doesn't know this, people are going to want to have social gatherings. They're going to want to have get-togethers. The Bellagio fountain's going to need to be not green when people come and look at it. Swimming lessons are going to be starting. I mean, there's just a lot. People are putting in pools. It's going to get hot. So, point of the story is the chlorine factory burnt down in Louisiana a few months back, and it's just not happening this year. So, it's a big bolo. It's a good bolo. I went to this store just right across the street here from you, so when it sells, I can say Adam could have walked and got this, but I did it myself, and hopefully I make a few $100s off of it.
Hey, that's as long as you can.
So
donate your
I
money.
motivated myself by listening to my own podcast,
Love
and I got off my back rear end and did something about it.
Well, that's exactly what we had. Well, on the break, we had your buddy Garth on the radio with us.
He doesn't follow me. I don't know if he's on social medias or not, but he's Adam's been to Oklahoma. Adam, you've been to his house, haven't
I
you?
have been to his residence. I even left him something from the ecclesiastical vacation that I was on. Left him some reading material there. So not sure whatever came of it, but
I think we're all pretty sure what came of it. But go ahead.
so he's coming here to Salt Lake. One of those big things. I know Derek's had a lot of good experience, bad experience with buying and selling tickets, concert tickets, sports tickets. one of those things he doesn't really like to do because it has that
hard,
termination date.
hard deadline, unless you're Adam buying tickets after the fact, which the Garth Brooks resale market isn't so good unless it's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough, like...
Because there is that drop dead date.
You got to be, there is some big potential. I mean,
It's high risk, high reward.
Derek made quite a few Benjamins from Taylor Swift. That was one of his home runs, right?
We'll go with it.
Well, it wasn't one of those...
It was Katy Perry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were in a feud at the time, Adam. I was Team Katy at the time, although secretly I've always been a Swiftie, but go ahead.
He sold purses. The guy has made money selling purses. Like, if there's a way to make a buck, D-Roy will figure out how.
I got no shame. It was a great concert.
Between...
I was living a teenage dream.
Mbop Hansen brothers selling chlorine and purses, he will make $1.
I also got stuck with front row tickets to Guns N' Roses and lost money on it.
And by you mean got stuck, you saw Fat Axel in perfect form 30% of the time, and that was well worth it.
Well, no, I had 4 tickets
I know.
and 2 people.
I understand.
And you wanted me to go with you and all your friends.
Well, I would have saved you a lot of money if you would have.
Well, had I not had those tickets, I was trying to pawn off, and I took a loss on them. I still have that. I still have the ticket to that concert in my wallet. So when I need to make a decision, I pull it out. I kid you not. I'll show you right now if you want.
I'd love to see it. That's a reminder.
I pull it out when I make a decision, and it reminds me that sometimes I can get burned. So just right here. It doesn't. You don't always win.
Oh, there you go.
Right there.
Perfect. He does have that ticket. I can vouch for it. Sitting right there. That was a big L on the wallet book there. But you can't. The one thing, you can't always have winners.
You don't always win. It's just I was making fun and saying that we had some friends that like to gamble a little earlier, had gambling problems.
And Derek does too.
Oh, I love it. But here's the thing. Here's how you know if somebody has a gambling real problem or gambling issue. If you ever meet a gambler and ask them how they're doing, if they say I'm about even, they're down probably 20 to 50%. If they just broke even, they're still there. They never lose. There's a lot of people that just never lose, and that's fine. But it's not true. Well, it's not even fine. Maybe you have a problem. If you have a problem, go get help. But a lot of times you just, and if you win and you're like, oh, I'm up $500, it's like, well, you're probably back to even, some of those people. I tend to have some pretty good luck, but I also lose. And that's the same with the reselling game. You might find something that you're like, man, this is a Yeezy shoe or something. This can't lose. This is $500. And for whatever reason, you bought the wrong pair. It's a factory defect or whatever. And you're just like, oh, no one wants this. Like, our boy Painter was talking about his Ric Flair card that he has. He has one that's off-centered. So it's a PSA 9, but it says OC on it, so it's off-centered. I think he sold that 2 or 3 times, and
That's right.
then somebody sees it and it's off-centered. It's like if this card didn't have that defect on it, which isn't that big of a deal, but it's a big enough deal for these people that want it, that, it would go for thousands of dollars. But because of that, so you don't always win.
Yeah, there's opportunities to lose out there, but here's the best part: you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
And you got to do your research, right? And you're not always going to bat 100 or 1,000 or whatever it is. 1,000, you might bat 100.
Yes.
But you're not going to get the Hall of Fame on 100.
No.
But if you can just get base hits,
yes.
And 300 will get you, will that get you in the Hall of Fame? That's not bad.
Yeah.
And 300 get you to Disneyland?
Oh yeah, 300 gets me to Disneyland.
So, take some swings, and especially if you're not investing a whole lot, you're not really out a whole lot, and you can always redonate, and you can resell, and you can have a yard sale and clear house. So.
Well, and like I said, we talked about when we really get going. We took a lot of those funds that we would spend on other activities, like going to the movie or going to an amusement park or something. We put it into reselling, and we've been able to have a good time and make our money back. So.
And it is. If you don't, here's the thing. A lot of people say, I know Brian and you were kind of the same way. It's like, oh, I kind of, you go to the thrift store and you kind of feel dirty, or kind of don't like going through it, or it's kind of that. You feel like maybe this should be going to the needy, not to me, but you really just donate money to a cause. But anyways, if you don't enjoy going, you like going to movies and stuff, this is live theater. You go and you just watch people. You just go and watch. You push your kids around, and then when you get in the car, you're like, did you see that kid? Whatever. You're lucky to have me as a parent. You're lucky that, you know, do you think his parents love him as much as I love you? Like, I don't know, you killed him a little bit. Or you're just like, man, I mean, it's that whole Jeff Foxworthy at the county fair bit. Remember that? The state fair, and he's like, somebody, you know, that lady has kids. It's that whole thing, but you can go and do it at the thrift store. Now, you shouldn't be making fun of people, and you shouldn't be making fun of people that have disabled or anything like that. I'm the disabled one, if we go back to the first of the show. But you can go there and you can have some good people watching, and you can make money while you're doing it. Or you see the people that are kind of like you reselling, and like if you want to have fun with me, if I'm there, you just go, I'm looking at shirts, you go on the rack by me and start going through shirts and start pulling them. I'm like, what did he get? What did I miss? That was mine. I was in, you know, so you can mess with resellers and stuff, and like just go a little ahead of them and start just taking things off the shelf and like kind of looking at your phone, put it in your cart, push it around.
It's been a while. We need to go hit the trifecta up in Layton.
I'm just saying there's some fun to be had,
Yes.
and there's some entertainment to be had, and you can teach your kids valuable lessons, not only about like, well, I'm just kidding about, you know, that they can, you know, well, that kid has a lot harder life than you and stuff. I probably do that a little bit just to make them humble. But in reality, you can teach them, hey, we got this for 75 cents and we sold it for, you know, $25.
Yes.
And that's hard money to come by. And the value of working dollar, it beats sweeping floors and stuff that we had to do as kids.
I will tell you this, because I just had a client, kid's 21 years old. Well, he's 20 now, he just turned 21 this year. He sold over $108,000 of just random, like, flipping trucks, trailers, selling and buying and selling horses, training horses, going in, working at rodeos, like, just hustling, making money, all because, you know, he got involved at a young, you know, it's a lot easier. I mean, it's not easy because it's all work, but it's much more opportunity now because of the internet than what it was when we were in high school.
Well, I mean, think back to your first job, right? Or some of your earlier jobs.
K7 Pizza.
And, I mean, that was kind of fun.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
But in the same, you probably weren't making a lot of money.
$4.75.
The hours weren't that great. You did get to deliver to brothels, which is a fun story for you to tell even to this day.
Yes.
But really, it's like, okay, or you know, when you're doing those jobs, it's not fun. And you have that boss that's like, you know, just likes the power trip a little bit, and that's really, he doesn't care. He's making $1 more an hour than you, but he gets to tell you what to do, and he's an assistant manager that, you know, dropped out of high school or whatever the case is, and he's been in your small hometown for way too long, and I don't know, maybe it's getting a little personal, but you know, 3 of his kids, and you know who his wife was at the time, and you know way too much about his life, but he gets to tell you what to do because he's the boss. And it's good to learn work ethic, and it's hard work. I think it's good to learn physical hard labor.
Shout out to the Subway in Nephi, Utah.
I didn't say any of that. And didn't say one bit of that. Matter of fact, shout out to them. More power to them. Anyway, new sponsor of the show. But the point is, like, they can do that, and you might get $14, $20 an hour. You know, you make $7 an hour. It adds up slow. Or you teach your kids some of these resources, and they learn how to work for themselves. They learn how to be independent. They learn how to flip things. They learn how to gauge value in things. And they got enough money to go to the prom. They don't have to go to their manager there at the sandwich shop and say, can I have it off? And they say, well, no, because somebody's got to work that night. And you're like, well, I'm going to quit. And they're like, well, okay, if that's what you want to do. And you're like, well, I need a job. And they're like, well, okay, if that's what you're going to do. Well, I don't care. I got child support to pay or whatever.
Derek, this is getting a little too personal for us today.
Anyway, if you got child support pay, I'm just in one of those moods. I about hit a kid earlier today. I don't know if you heard that.
I didn't hear that.
Living La Vida Loca in the second half. But point of the story is, teach your kid this, and if they want to go work somewhere else, that's fine, but they've already got the work value, and they got this installed in them. Yeah. And it's good to go work for other people and work around other people and other things, but if they have that in them, they'll always have that in them. And that's not something that, I mean, there's a phrase in sports or in basketball, it's like, hey, he's 7 foot, you can't teach that. A 4.40, you can't teach that. If somebody has a work ethic growing up, by the time they get to be, you know, in their late teens, early 20s, talk to any person that's like in their 60s right now, they hate millennials because they're on their phone all the time, they don't work, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's kind of true, kind of not. But the point is, you can't teach that. And a lot of these people didn't have jobs growing up because their parents thought it'd be important. This is Derek's opinion. They thought it would be important if they got good grades in school, went to college, got a good job, and they never learned how to work with people or how to interact with with superiors or other people they're working with. They were always told they were better than people. You're special. You're smarter than people. So when they get put in the workplace and somebody's saying you're not better than me, you got to go scrub that toilet because it needs to get scrubbed, or you need to go do this or that. They have a hard time, or they don't know how to interact with other people because they're on their phone just looking at their social media. It's like, dude, you're here. You got a job to do. You don't want your kid to end up like that.
No, you don't.
And you can't teach that, but you kind of can if you install it at an early age and teach them those skills. They'll be able to do whatever job, but they'll be able to hustle. They'll be able to provide if things get tough, if they get laid off, if the economy goes down. You can always resell. You can always find a niche. If they get another job and they become something great, but the same, they'll be able to interact with people because you have to deal with angry customers. You have to deal with people that you're trying to haggle with. You have to have interactions that are uncomfortable. No, I only want to give you $10. You want $17. How am I going to make this happen? Because I need it because it's worth $35. So good things to teaching kids from a guy that has no kids, Adam.
Well, you've been,
Parenting lesson of the year. Happy Mother's Day to me.
yes. Well, you've definitely been involved in the community, doing a lot of great things for people there. So, no, I mean, just knowing this kid's situation, like I said, it's absolutely attainable for anyone who's listening to this podcast, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's your full time, whether you're thinking about making it your full time. I mean, I've done accounting for years, and I really love it. I'm really got a lot of experience. I'm good at it, and for me, I try to make it a 4-month. The government keeps changing it. Now it's a 5.5 month. I just try focusing, on my other businesses, especially reselling. That's what my next goal is. But Derek and I have a project that we're working on that we're really excited about. There's plenty of opportunity to make money. The internet has changed the world. Go out and use it. Go make some of that cash so that you can spend it on shrimp.
And Garth Brooks tickets, going clear back.
And Garth Brooks tickets.
If you're into him, he's a fun time.
He's a good time, no matter what. Like I said, that's one of those concerts that you want to go to. Is Garth Brooks? He's an entertainer.
He's an entertainer extraordinaire. And if you buy his tickets at a cheap enough price, here's something, Adam. I'm sure you probably saw this, but we have somebody that's trying to resell them in the Facebook marketplaces.
That's where I was going.
Oh, people are losing it.
That's what I was gonna go there, but I left it. Yeah, people were they were asking $750 for
Which is a lot.
a pair of tickets, which is more than that. But
Now, he had, every ticket was like the same price. It was like $90
Yeah.
or something. Didn't matter if you're front row or back row. Sold out an arena that was pretty big, which is why I was nowhere near this.
But like I said, it was one of those things, and they had some tickets, and it's a higher price. But who cares? Like, just shut up and move on. Like
That's the thing that drives me nuts, and I didn't jump in because I usually do. I don't have time, and I'm like, this isn't my battle this time. This one's not on me. But the point is, like, people hate scalpers. I get it. I hate when I have to go buy things off scalpers. But the thing is, they own the tickets. They bought the tickets. It's, as far as I'm concerned, unless there's state or other laws where you live, it's their property. If they want to just tear them up and put them in a paper shredder and no one sits there, that's their prerogative. If they want to ask $10,000, like, maybe somebody will pay it, maybe they won't. That's their prerogative, right? Why is the whole community got to come in and shame people?
Because people, it's the crab syndrome. Everybody wants to pull them lower down in the bucket.
But no one cares that Garth Brooks just made, what was it, 90 times 20,000?
A lot.
However much that is, no one cares that he just made a couple $100,000 or whatever off of selling tickets to people.
No,
And we had to rent the blah, 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 blah. I get it, there's cost involved, but these people had to, on a smaller scale, invest their time and money to get the ticket, and I don't know.
It's worth whatever somebody will pay for it. So, that being said, D-Roy, like I said, we got some good things coming this week. I am going to be in a great mood next week. We will be done with tax season. Get your taxes paid. I know I need to do that. So, D-Roy, there are 2 things in life that are for certain.
Deathpiles and taxes.
We're well within our rights to use this song. We're aware that preaching copyright is wrong. With lots of dedication.